On Delta TV News tonight, Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs says President Bola Tinubu is yet to make any official appointment of ambassadors. Wife of State Deputy Governor Ezinne Catherine Onyeme encourages students to embrace art and design as a career choice. Federal government announces heavy flooding across the country. And abroad, U.S. Supreme Court instructs Donald Trump's administration facilitate return of Maryland man mistakenly deported to a mega jail in El Salvador. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us for Delta TV Main News at 8. I am Blessing Usiagwada. The Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs has stated that President Bola Tinubu is yet to make any official appointment of ambassadors. The clarification was issued in response to a list of ambassadorial nominees currently circulating on social media. In a statement by the acting spokesperson of the ministry, Kemiebi Ebienfa, described the visit as false and should be disregarded. The ministry assured Nigerians that the public would be duly informed through the appropriate channels once a legitimate list is finalized. The clarification comes amid heightened public interest in Nigeria's diplomatic representation, particularly following the recall of all ambassadors in September 2023. Students have been encouraged to embrace art and design as a career choice in order to harness their innate potentials and create sustainable means of livelihood. The wife of the State Deputy Governor, Ezinne Catherine Onyeme, made the call during an exhibition organized by the Department of Fine and Applied Arts, Dennis Osadebe University, Asaba. The report.
The exhibition, which featured works in sculpture, fashion painting, jewelry, ceramics, textiles, graphics, and photography, was held at the Delta State Traditional Rulers Secretariat Art Exhibition Gallery in Asaba. Mrs. Onyeme emphasizes that early exposure of children to the world of arts and design can ignite curiosity, creativity, and innovation, factors that are crucial in nurturing future artists and designers. She commended the organizers for the visionary step of involving primary and secondary school students in the maiden edition of the department's art exhibition, describing it as a step in the right direction to catch them young. The wife of the Deputy Governor further noted that both artistically and scientifically gifted children should be nurtured to achieve their full potential, adding that creative expression can be a pathway to success for many young talents.
Let us continue to support platforms that uncover and develop the divine gifts placed in them. What we will witness here today is going to be remarkable, I believe. I am confident that the capable hands and visionary minds behind this exhibition will continue to shape the future of creative and intellectual excellence in our state.
The Vice-Chancellor of Dennis Osadebe University, Professor Benjamin Ojafor, represented by Professor Godwin Osegali, Dean of the Faculty of Environmental Sciences, stated that the Department of Fine and Applied Arts was entrepreneurially driven and aligned with the more agenda of the state government. Professor Ojafor reiterated that the exhibition was organized to showcase the talents of students in various artistic disciplines and to promote entrepreneurship through creative endeavors.
Here they have come to show their talents, they have come to showcase what they are made of, and they have also come to showcase the works of arts. Arts is creative.
The highlights of the event were performances by a dance group from the Theatre Arts Department of Dennis Osadebe University and a tour of the exhibition, led by Professor Antonia Okogu, a visiting scholar in Dennis Osadebe University, Asaba.
The State Ministry of Justice has restated its commitment to ensuring that all its staff are trained and updated with current modern trends in the performance of their duties. The State Solicitor General and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mr. Omamuzo Erebe, underscored this at the commencement of two capacity building training programs for staff of the ministry. At the first training program for State Counsel in the Ministry on the Act of Handling Matters at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, the in-house resource person, Mr. Charles Agbagu, took participants through the various stages of initiating and defense of both civil and criminal appeal matters. The interactive training session saw participants involved in simulation and role play of matters at the appellate court and filing of written briefs to ensure successful outcomes. Participants at the program were drawn from the headquarters office and the 11 zonal offices of the ministry. The second capacity building training was a two-day program on financial accounting practices and ethics for finance and accounts staff. Declaring the training open, Mr. Omamuzo Erebe stated that non-legal and paralegal staff were key components of any modern-day law office, adding that the job of the State Counsel could not be effectively handled in the absence of well-trained support staff. He prayed the participants to put in their best for greater productivity and enhanced service delivery. The Delta State government has announced that profiling and revalidation exercise continues for commercial motorcycles, popularly known as Okada, and tricycle, known as Keke, in the state, at the State Ministry of Transport, Cluster D, Professor Chike Edozie Secretariat, Asaba. The information was communicated through a statement from the Ministry of Information, signed by the Director of Public Communication and Functioning Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Theresa Oliko. According to the statement, the profiling and revalidation exercise was designed to enhance the security of motorcycle and keke operators, as well as passengers, and to enable the government to have a database for the purpose of planning. It added that in line with the law establishing the usage of motorcycle and tricycle for commercial purpose as amended in 2008, operators are hereby encouraged to key into the ongoing profiling and revalidation exercise by visiting the nearest government-recognized unit of Commercial Motorcycles and Tricycle Operators Association, Delta State, to get profiled and revalidated. You're watching Delta TV Main News. Still to come, federal government announces heavy flooding across the country. Details of this story and many more will come after the short break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned to Delta TV Main News. Now the news continues. Ahead of the rainy season, states have commenced measures to arrest the flooding expected to inundate no fewer than 1,249 communities in 176 local governments across 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The measures include public enlightenment campaigns, dredging water channels, and relocating communities on riverbanks and floodplains. Yesterday, the federal government announced that the state would witness heavy flooding between April and November. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, disclosed this at the unveiling of the 2025 Annual Flood Outlook by the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency in Abuja. Others are Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, Zamfara, and the FCT. The minister raised concerns that flooding remains one of the devastating natural disasters in Nigeria, with climate change accelerating its frequency and severity. He also predicted that coastal and riverine areas such as Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Lagos, Ogun, Rivers, and Ondo would experience flooding due to the rise in sea level and tidal surge, and this would impact fishing, wildlife habitation, and river navigation. The federal government, in collaboration with the Edo State government, has established a fact-finding committee to investigate the recent killing of hunters in Uromi, Edo State. The Edo State Governor, Senator Monday Okpebolo, stated this while receiving a high-power delegation from Kano State, led by the Kano State Deputy Governor, Mr. Aminu Abdusalam Gwazo, in Benin City. Senator Okpebolo revealed that President Bola Tinubu was displeased with a tragic incident and was committed to ensuring the safety and security of all citizens. According to him, Edo State is home to peace-loving people. Kano and Edo State had enjoyed a history of commercial and industrial collaboration. In his remarks, the Kano Deputy State Governor said Mr. Abdusalam Gwazo expressed gratitude to Senator Okpebolo for his earlier visit to Kano State and his efforts during the crisis. Senator Okpebolo and the Kano State delegation later visited Uromi, where they met with members of the Hausa community affected by the incidents. And now to news around the world. The U.S. Supreme Court has instructed the Trump administration to facilitate the return of a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to a mega jail in El Salvador. The Trump administration had conceded that Kilmer Abrego Garcia was deported due to an administrative error, but appealed against the district court order to facilitate and effectuate his return to the U.S. On Thursday, in a 9-0 ruling, Supreme Court judges declined to block the lower court's order. That order requires the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's release from custody in El Salvador and to ensure that his ease is handled as it would have been had he not been improperly sent, the justices ruled. Mr. Garcia, a Salvadorian migrant, is one of the dozens of migrants the U.S. placed on military planes last month and sent to El Salvador's infamous SECOT, Center for the Confinement of Terrorism, a prison known for housing gang members under an arrangement between the two countries. In a statement yesterday evening after the top court's decision, Simon Sandoval Moshenberg, a lawyer for Mr. Garcia, said the rule of law prevailed. To Tanzania. Tanzania's opposition leader, Tundu Lissu, has been charged with treason a day after he was arrested following a rally he held in the south of the country. The charge is connected to his nationwide campaign pushing for electoral reform under the slogan, "No reforms, no election." The country is due to go to the polls in October, when Lissu is expected to challenge President Samia Suluhu Hassan. When Samia first came to power in 2021 after the death of her predecessor, John Magufuli, she was praised for reversing some of his more authoritarian tendencies. But she has since been criticized after some opposition members have been targeted with arrests and abductions. In a series of public appearances, Lissu has been saying that there is no chance of a free and fair election in 6 months unless there are reforms. The leader of the Chadema party wants the makeup of the Electoral Commission to change. He has argued that it should not include people appointed directly by Samia. Kenya's National High School Drama Competition has been overshadowed by drama of its own after police fired tear gas to disperse a crowd that had gathered to watch a controversial play. Echoes of War is set in a fictional kingdom where the youth have lost faith in their leaders. It features battles with the police and has drawn parallels with last year's protest by young people against tax rises. It was initially disqualified from the drama festival under unclear circumstances, but a High Court ruling overturned the decision and ordered it to be included. Tensions flared in the western town of Nakuru yesterday morning when the student performers stormed out of the venue, demanding the release of the play's author, Cleophas Malala, who had been detained by police. The scriptwriter and former senator had penned down the production for students from Butere Girls High School and was blocked by police from meeting the young performers for final rehearsals on Wednesday evening. Malala was later released without charge and praised the students for boycotting the play. Immediately after Malala's release, he said the young girls of Butere Girls had exercised an act of heroic restoration and was determined to ensure that echoes of war is displayed before a Kenyan audience. And to business. The Naira has recorded its highest appreciation against the dollar at the official foreign exchange market after the United States of America President Donald Trump paused tariff increase. Data from the Nigerian exchange market showed that the Naira strengthened to 1,605 Naira per dollar at the official market from 1,629 Naira 0.93. According to the report, this is the second time the Naira has appreciated and the highest gain so far this week. The Naira has recorded more depreciation than appreciation following the global impact of Trump's April 2, 2025 tariff announcement. And to sports, the president of South American football ruling body, CONMEBOL, Mr. Alejandro Dominguez, has proposed the expansion of the men's 2030 World Cup to 64 teams. Mr. Dominguez stated this during his opening speech at CONMEBOL's 80th Ordinary Congress. This was initially mooted last month by a delegate from Bulgaria during a meeting of FIFA's ruling council chaired by its president, Gianni Infantino. The 2030 World Cup will have 6 host nations spread across 3 continents. The game is scheduled to stage 1 game, and the co-host will be Paraguay, Argentina, Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. There were 32 teams in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. That number would be expanded to 48 at the 2026 World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And now our thought for the day. Don't try to rush things that need time to grow. To end the news, here are the main points again. The Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs has stated that President Bola Tinubu is yet to make any official appointment of ambassadors. The clarification was issued in response to a list of ambassadorial nominees currently circulating on social media. Students have been encouraged to embrace art and design as a career choice in order to harness their innate potentials and create sustainable means of livelihood. The wife of the State Deputy Governor, Ezine Catherine Onyeme, made the call during an exhibition organized by the Department of Fine and Applied Arts, Dennis Osadebe University, Asaba. Ahead of the rainy season, states have commenced measures to arrest the flooding expected to inundate no fewer than 1,249 communities in 176 local governments across 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The measures include public enlightenment campaigns, dredging water channels, and relocating communities on riverbanks and floodplains. We also reported that the U.S. Supreme Court has instructed the Trump administration to facilitate the return of a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to a mega jail in El Salvador. The Trump administration had considered that Kilma Abrego Garcias was deported due to an administrative error, but appealed against a court order to facilitate and effectuate his return to the U.S. And that ends Delta TV Main News at 8. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Blessing Usiagbada. Have a restful night and goodbye for now.